people wake up if you ever turn up. Zig man sings of the dream. They get mad like a just like you, I'm trying to live my life right. And anybody like turn on the lights. And if you do that, then you'll be fine. Yeah. Cause I remember dreaming as a kid of me getting older. And exactly what I would do. Yeah. I had to get ready cause I didn't know what time I place to make my dreams come true. Yeah. Then later on, I learned that you can't talk to losers about winning. It ain't their language, they never gonna get. And then anything I can think of, I can make it control. Just look at me now, I'm on drink too.
My nigga Rico Love said turn the lights on. Cause you can see that you a whole lot better with the lights on. Don't be afraid to take the lights on. I learned to dream with the lights on.
Welcome back to the Staley and English Show featuring Coach Kurtz. I'm your man, Coach English. I'm here with Coach Staley. Coach Kurtz is out today. He's spending time with his father who's in town. So, big Kurtz and little Kurtz, y'all have a good time. But Josh, how's your week treating you?
Oh, man, week is going well. God is good as always. Just want to thank him for giving me the opportunity for another day to get through another week. We're in the midst of basketball season, so scrimmages has started. Practices should be going full blast now. I know there's a few people still got to make a few cuts because their football teams are going deep in the playoffs, especially on the boys' side. But I just want to wish everybody good luck and keep grinding. But, all is well. All is well.
Yeah, same here. I think our audience, you got two tired people on your hands here. We've been grinding all week, and I'm pretty sure, between practices and I had scrimmage, 4-way scrimmage this morning, got done about 3, got to the house, packed up the stuff, and got on the road, headed here to the Juke to go ahead and get this show done. We want to make sure you got a show every week, that it's fresh and new, and no matter what, we are going to be here for you. All right. What we got this week, Josh?
Oh, man, this show right here is just simply for the viewers. We're going to try to give you guys some inspiration, some motivation, some drive to maybe help you go ahead and finish a project you wanted to start, complete a task that you never finished, or just start anew and renew your thinking, renew your mind, just to give you guys show you appreciation, and not so much just talk about how we feel, but just talk about something to try to give you some love with this. We got a lot going on in this crazy world, so we're going to try to put some positive energy out.
Well, my brother Doc, he always says you got to put that good juju out there because you never know who's receiving it. I think that we sometimes get caught up in our own lives to the fact of and worrying about what we don't have, that we forget to be thankful for what we do have, and what we do have continues to make us move forward. And I think that a lot of times, I was just watching a video about a friend of mine that's really, really close to me passed at the end of July. It's about in his early 30s, car accident in Jamaica, and he always used to say things could be better, but they could always be worse. And he used to just love to have the positive vibe around him. He used to just want to always inspire people around him. And then he lived his life in such a way in which he had no regrets. His name was Dwayne Malcolm. Other people knew him as DJ Blaze. And he was just a very, very positive dude. He liked to infuse his positiveness into other people. And I feel like in this negative behind world, I think the more that we infuse our positivity on everyone else, the more and maybe the better off that person's day might be. Because I'm going to tell you what, you never know how much you affect a person just by the vibe you give off.
Yeah, I agree, man. And, we want to send a prayer out to all the families and victims that was affected by that shooting out in Texas, in the town right outside of San Antonio. Another mass murder that we had here in America, and that's just too many. Period. One is too many.
One is too many. Yeah.
One is too many, and we're having now it's starting to turn into multiple. And as human beings, I had explained to my class the other day. As human beings, we tend to be cold and hard when we hear things like that. One, because we hear it all the time, and even more dangerous of a mindset is that it's not you. That it doesn't affect you. And I had explained to them, don't be insensitive because it's not you. Because you never know when it can happen to you. So the same reaction, the same effect it would have on you if it was you, you need to have that same feeling when it's someone else. Because that's why, we're having just this too much in the world. And I beg our policymakers, I beg the citizens to get out and vote. We do need to do something about these gun laws. I heard a person said to me, well, what's the purpose of changing gun laws? Criminals are going to still get guns. So I asked them, well, we might as well change burglary laws because people are still breaking in houses.
People are always going to steal, yeah.
Yeah, but we still want those laws. We still want them to be enforced. And I sincerely feel, President Obama tried to start it. I sincerely feel we need a stricter process, and I understand different stakeholders and interest groups have a lot of money invested in guns, and they actually give some of these politicians money for their campaigns, and you have the right to do that. But we got to start thinking about the value of human life, and we got to really start putting that first. Not monetary gain, not fiscal profit, but the value of human life has to be on the forefront, because you can't take none of the riches and the fame with you.
Yeah, but the people who have the money and the people who are making these decisions, they don't value human life. Mm-hmm. Those same people who are making these decisions are the people that are putting others in danger's way and have other people's lives in the balance. So they could care less about human life as long as it doesn't affect their bottom line. Human life means absolutely nothing to them because their human life is not affected. If their bottom line is not affected, then if their bottom line is affected, that's the only way you're going to hit them where it hurts. Mm-hmm. I said, but the problem is with society as a whole is everybody wants to believe they have a cause or something that they want to protest or whatever. The problem is everybody who sees it as a problem is not going to come together. It's not enough of us that will come together and say, hey, look, we're going to stop supporting a particular thing just to get back what we think we need, which is stricter gun laws. Let's not shoot. You want stricter gun laws? Just let's start a protest. Don't go buy a gun. Like, just don't go to a pawn shop. Don't go here. Don't go. Don't patronize these organizations that support the gun laws that are currently in place, because I just feel like it's a situation where we don't want certain things to happen, but in the same breath we turn around, but we continue to bolster the pockets of these people who are allowing these things to happen.
Yeah, and it's just, I just think we need to really be careful in what we invest in. Like Chance the Rapper, me and my wife was talking. The policymakers out in Chicago, out in Illinois, are like, hey, we want to invest. What was it, $95 million in the police system? And Chance, I agree exactly with him. Like, why would we invest that much money in police? That money needs to be put in education. Mm-hmm. Because if you want crime and violence to stop, you look at any form of research. You start it with education. And if you educate these young people and you invest in it and you make that a priority in every community, in every district, every area, every zoning, all of the demographics, then the quality of life is improved. But you're not going to improve quality of life by an increase in policing, because you're not making the people better that you're trying to police. Mm-hmm. You're just giving them more police. you know, let's educate these folks, man. But let's go ahead. Let's encourage some people. Well, we're going to try our best. We're going to try our best to encourage you guys, man. And I guess I started out. Or you can start.
Well, I will say this. I want to give a quick shout out to Naya Child. She is a former student of mine at Denmark-Ola High School. She is now a sophomore in college, and she sent me something that inspired me today.
Okay. Started out with that then.
Because I was feeling kind of down earlier this week, which I ain't the most religious person on the planet, but it's funny how God works for you sometimes. And I was really kind of questioning if I was in the right if I had chosen the right career, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And yesterday I got this message from her on Facebook, and she says, "Hey, Mr. English, so early this week I was in class and we were doing this activity. When we started, we were asked to list 5 people who have greatly influenced our life. By the time I got to the second bullet, I found myself writing your name. I know that you may not know it, but you are the best teacher I have ever had to come into my life. I truly idolize you. Whether you believe it or not, you've made such an impact on me personally. It all started with you having us watch Eric Thomas's videos at the beginning of every class and having us write journal entries about them. To all the real talks and class discussions. With each class session, you allowed me to dig deeper and discover who I am. I could go on, but I think it's imperative for you to know that being the person you are has helped shape me into the person I am and I am becoming. I appreciate you so much. Just continue to be who you are and inspire other youth." And it really touched me a little bit because Naya never said much in class. Right. Like, she'd be a part of the discussion, and she's a straight A student, but she never really said much in class. And it really made me feel like, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't know if that inspired maybe another teacher or somebody else or on another profession who's listening to this show. I know coaches, sometimes we feel as though, man, shoot, we are underpaid and overworked, and I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's mainly because sometimes we don't notice the impact. We don't see in that moment the impact that we're having on these young lives by just being around them and being an ear to listen to them, because some of them don't have positive males. They don't have positive females in their lives that they can look up to and talk to and confide in and really learn about life from. Good role models, as we talked about before. And it's times like these that I get inspired to continue to go on. And this wasn't the first note I've had, but I think sometimes they have to come in to remind us time after time, just to remind you of why you're here and what you're doing. And know that even if you, as an educator or a coach, has not gotten one of these letters from your students, I promise you, or players, I promise you that some of them feel that way. They just haven't articulated it to you.
Yeah, and that's one of the most fulfilling pieces of inspiration you can get when it comes from someone that you wasn't even expecting to get it. When someone gets something out of what you're doing or what you feel that you're just simply doing your job, that could be very, very fulfilling, man. So that's a real good positive piece to have, especially when you're going through a point where you're like, man, am I going in the right direction?
Yeah.
So obviously the good Lord validated that for you, that you are, man. But I'm gonna start with this. A lot of times when we're looking for inspiration, we always look for it to come from an external force, an external push, an external pull. But I am going to challenge the listeners to start encouraging themselves. I want you guys to renew your minds. Change the way you think. Change the way you process. Change the way you react. And change the way change the things you are proactive about. I want you guys to start to become your biggest advocate. Become someone that, as cliche as it may sound, is become someone that believes in yourself. Encourage yourself. Motivate yourself. Talk to yourself. Speak the things you want to occur into existence. Speak them over your life. Believe them over your life. Know what's going to happen. If you're like me, go into your closet and pray these things to your God and believe that they're going to occur. Know that those blessings are going to happen, because what I find is some of the most successful people in the world are the more headstrong people and the people that simply believe. It's the people that know it can happen, and not the people that expect it to happen. Like if you know it's going to happen, it's a really good chance that it will. So I want y'all to encourage yourself, because you're going to have enough people believe that you aren't. You're going to have enough people simply doubting you. But the last person you can afford to doubt you is yourself. So renew your mind, renew that thought process. Like if you wanted to write that book, do it. Don't say, I don't have time. Say, I'll make time. Yeah. You know, if you wanted to go out there and do something like build a deck in the backyard, don't say, oh man, I wish I can figure out a way to do it. No, do it. You know, because I think the power of belief, the power of encouraging yourself is something that we take for granted. So many times we simply don't. Not because we can't, but just simply because we don't believe we can.
And the thing is, you know, a lot of people try to say, okay, well, there's a saying that goes, matter of fact, how do you expect anyone else to believe it if you don't believe it?
Right. If
you don't believe that you can do something, how do you expect anybody else to believe that you can do something? For all of those that are trying to do something, for all of us that are trying to like Coach said, if you're trying to build that deck, and you ever caught yourself talking about doing something so much that you begin to believe you're doing it, but you didn't start doing it because you talked about it so much? Every time it says shut up, just shut up about it. And if you feel you want to do it, go. Step out. The first thing you got to do is first go out there. I've talked about working out every week before I started working out last week. I'm talking about every single week I'm going to work out. I'm going to work out. I even tried to do it every so often, but I happened to look at myself one day last weekend and said, you know what? Monday, no matter what, 5 o'clock, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go walk.
Yep. Some of the best advice I ever got about just simply encouraging yourself and renewing your mind. Someone simply told me the time you waste thinking about you not wanting to do it, you can already be finished.
It can already be done.
You can already be finished. That was some of the most encouraging and positive information I ever got. And it was just a simple statement. While you're sitting back saying, oh man, I don't think I could do that, you can already have started.
It would already be finished.
So don't waste that time saying what you can't do and just start. Because here's what's crazy. Usually, and if not majority, the start shows you how to get to the finish. But you will never get to the finish if you don't start.
And then remember, don't start with the end in mind now.
Right.
You can't start with the end in mind. You have to start saying, okay, I'm going to take this step. Okay, what's the first thing I need to do? Boom, do that. Okay, what's next? And then next thing, after you do one thing, right after the next, right after the next, right after the next, you'll get there. Like early in one of our earlier episodes, I spoke about Will Smithman when his father tore down that wall and he wanted him and his brother to build it back up. And he says, don't worry about the wall. Just lay the first brick as perfectly as you can. Cement that. And then move on to the next one. See, a lot of times the reason why we become discouraged is we're looking at the end result and seeing the road for the long road it is and not really focusing on, okay, what can I do today? Just today. What can I do today to get me closer to what I want as the end result? And then you attack that with fervor and zeal and you say, look, I am not going to stop today. And what happens is you turn around and it's a week. And you turn around, it's a week after that. And now you're a month in, and whether you're trying to lose weight, and shoot, you done lost that weight. Whether you were trying to write a book, and all you did was write a page a day, now you got 30 pages. You know, all you have to do is start step by step by step. Don't worry about the end result, because it'll work itself out. If you're working hard and you're not quitting and you're going, hey, today I'm just going to do this. Today I'm going to do this. Today I'm going to do this. Eventually, you're climbing that mountain little by little, but eventually you'll get to the end. You'll get to the top of it.
And to pick out something you just said about quitting. Most people quit because things become difficult. You have to allow difficult times to inspire you. Now, when you can learn how to do that, you probably can tell mountains to move. Because most people, when a difficult moment occurs, that's their way out. That's their reason to be like, oh, I knew it wasn't worth it. Mm-hmm. You know, I just started this business and we've been in the hole the first 3 months. We can't get to the black. We've been in the red. We can't get to the black. I'm going to quit. I'm going to tank it. But allow difficult times to inspire you, because whether you want to believe it or not, you are equipped with everything you need to be successful. Boom. You are equipped. But we get through these difficult times. Like I tell my players all the time, I've never had a starting player quit, and I've never seen a straight A student drop out of school. The people that quit are usually the ones that's not getting playing time.
Yep.
And they're usually the kids that drop out of school are the ones that are already flunking, because those difficult times don't inspire them, they drain them. But you have to learn how to renew your thought process and enable those difficult times to inspire you. Because guess what? You're never going to be the only person going through difficult times.
But never.
The most successful people in the world go through difficult times. But the only catch is those difficult times did not become the statements of their life. The statements of their life came from how they responded to those difficult times.
Yeah, did they monitor and adjust? Because remember, you know, there's a saying, what is it? Adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it.
Yeah, and the difficult times and the mistakes that you make need to become the decorations of your life.
Yeah.
Allow those to beautify you, because they make you stronger, they push you forward. But we have to make sure that the difficult times inspire us and not break us down.
Well, let me say this. I just had a conversation with my brother. We spoke. You heard me speak about him. I think it was episode 9. I talked about his mental health, and they just released him from the hospital, and he has to go into, and he's on his meds and everything, and he doesn't have a place to live because he's burned all his bridges with all my family members. So they're going to get him housing, but here's the deal: he has to stay in a homeless shelter for about a month before they'll give him the housing. He has to prove that he wants housing. So he's used to doing old things. So first night they drop him off there at 4 o'clock. 4:30, he has a bed, he sleeps. You know, every morning you got to leave the shelter about 7:30. He leaves the shelter. He doesn't go back last night till about 7. Well, in Jersey right now, it's about 15, 16 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to turn him away. They made him sleep sitting up in the chapel because it was about 30 other people. And I talked to him on the phone, and I said, "Dog, what are you doing?" He said, "Man, I came here. They were supposed to have a bed." I said, "What time did you go?" He said, 7 o'clock. I said, "Well, what time are you supposed to be there?" 4:30. I said, "So now you ain't got nobody to blame for not having a bed but you. What you going to do now?" So I called him today at about 4 o'clock. And I was like, "Dog, what you doing?" He said, "I'm just leaving mommy house because, you know, I can't stay here. I just came to take a shower." I said, "Well, where you headed?" He said, "I'm about to go to the shelter." And then I called him when I got here to the juke, and I was like, it was about 7 o'clock. I said, "Joe, where you at?" "Oh, I'm in the bed. I got a bed." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I showed up on time."
Right.
You know, right. He could have continued to do the same thing. And is his road over? No, but today was a start in him realizing, okay, look, I got to do something different. I'm trying to get out this hole. I'm trying to get out this bad time. He could go back to not taking his meds. He can go back to saying, blaming everybody else. But he's like, yo, look, instead of me saying, I'm gonna stay at mommy's house, I know she don't want me. I know she can't handle it now. Maybe in time she will. I have to prove to her that I've changed. I have to prove to my dad that I've changed. I have to prove to my sister that I've changed just for somebody to let me in. So until that time, let me do what I need to do. He saw the adversity. He's made the adjustments. Is it done? No, by no means is it over for him. But I love the fact that he's making a first step towards trying to do what he's supposed to do. I got to be there at 4:30. Let me be there at 4:30. And I just think that a lot of times people get caught up trying to blame other people for their issues, that they make other excuses. And there's reasons why there is no excuse, because at a certain point in your life, you made a decision to get you in the situation you are. The only thing that matters is how are you going to get yourself out?
Yeah, I think, but the thing you said, you can't keep doing the same thing expecting different results.
It's insanity.
It's not going to happen. I don't have a 6-pack because I don't drink water like I'm supposed to. So and I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not even mad at myself because I know exactly why. And every week I say, okay, I'll start back on my water this week. And I don't do it because sweet tea tastes way better than that. So I live with the results. But you got, like, it could be something as simple as, like, I want to get out of debt. You have to make your mind up.
That's what you want to do.
To get out of debt. Because it's very much possible. And it's something like a while ago, I said, you know what, I want all my debt cleared. I want it completely cleared. Me and my wife sat down, we put a goal together, we stuck to it, and it happened. But it didn't, it happened because we changed our behavior. We changed our actions. We changed our spending. We cut the eating out. We narrowed down on some things, and we were able to clear some things up so we can do different things. But you can't accomplish your mission if you don't know what path to take. But it's okay if you don't know, because something it could be as simple as asking someone else. Mm-hmm. Ask someone else, like, figure it out. But you definitely got to allow the difficult times you go through to inspire you. And something else I want to tap on, something we struggle with. You got to know your worth. And when I say know your worth, I don't mean that in a shallow sense, in a superficial sense. I don't mean that like, hey, yeah, I am somebody. I don't mean that in the superficial sense. I mean that in the deep layers of knowing your worth. Like, we throw the word haters around. And the reason why we talk about haters so much is because it bothers us.
Yeah.
But you have to know your worth and not even give the haters
that
energy. Like, I had a conversation with a very dear friend. I won't call her name because she's dear to my heart. And someone's been, like, really doing her bad, like, dirty, not on some, like, relationship type stuff, but like just talking trash about them in the community, never having anything good to say, undermining them and doing them bad. And the person was like, so when do I stand up for myself? I said, you stand up for yourself every day by doing the right thing on a daily basis. Because they were feeling kind of frustrated and feeling kind of bad. And I said, I want you to do this for me. Stop feeling bad because someone else is doing wrong to you. Why would you do that to yourself? I want you to really think about that. You're upset. You feel bad, but you haven't done anything wrong. The only person doing something wrong is that person, and we use the word hater. Mm-hmm. The only person doing something wrong is that hater to you. They don't feel bad about what they're doing to you. So why should you punish yourself? Know your worth. Know that I don't care if it's 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 days, or 10 years. You should never allow anyone to make you feel bad when you haven't done anything wrong and they're the only person doing something bad to you. You have to empower yourself. You have to know your worth and not allow negative people to pull you down and make you feel bad, because at the end of the day, all they're doing is creating discomfort for you, and you're punishing yourself for feeling bad about something you haven't done. You have to know your worth. You're beautiful. You're powerful. you're intelligent, and it's nothing that you can't accomplish. It's nothing that you can't do. And I don't say that in a cliche form. I mean that in that abstract manner, because you might say, well, I want to be the next R&B star. It might not be a line in the stars for you to do that, but you might be the next great writer of your time. You might say, I want to be the next great athlete. It might not be in the stars for you to do that, but you might be the next great coach. But what I'm getting you to understand is when you encourage yourself and you constantly work on knowing your worth and never selling yourself short, you figure something magical out, and you realize that I can do anything that I believe I can do. Not just put your mind to, but believe you can do it. As a man of faith, mine says I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I focus on my faith. I'm not a religious based person, because a lot of the religious customs that we practice or just simply was created by man. So I try my best to stay in line with the word, the Bible that I read. My uncle Alvin Staley and my good friend Sean Glover send me like Bible verses daily. My godmother Ollie Boyd, they send me Bible verses daily, and I read them. I read them on a regular basis. One of my mother dear friends, a pastor, he sends me Bible verses daily, and I read them to renew my mind daily, to encourage myself daily, to work on knowing my worth daily. You are young princesses, kings and queens. You should not allow anyone to drag you down. If people want to focus on the negative, you give them that. Let them have that, but let them hold on to that by themselves. Don't let them pull you down, because your worth is so much more than that.
Well, that's the thing. We give too much energy where it doesn't belong. And so when we come in at the end of that, we're so frustrated and tired, and the people that don't have that desire, or that don't give that energy over to the quote unquote haters, the people that are hating on you and all of this and that. I remember, Josh, me and you having a conversation. We spoke about rankings and this and that and this and that, and I remember he was like, I started laughing, and he was like, "Dog, you laughing?" I said, "Yeah," because I find it funny. I could have sat there and gave a lot of energy to the fact that I felt like we weren't being respected enough, myself as well as you, and our teams weren't being respected enough. I could have done that, but what did we do? Laughed about it and said, "Hey, look, man, the ball still got to bounce. We still got to shoot it. I ain't got time. I got 16 or 15 or 32 kids in my program, or 40 something, or whatever you count middle school. I've got all these kids that I have to worry about getting them to a point where they don't let other people dictate what they do. So I can't allow myself for other people to dictate, okay, well, look, that's a hater. So, man, I can't wait to do this and do that, and I can't, and I'm putting all my energy in trying to prove somebody else wrong rather than putting my energy into proving myself right. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. You putting your energy into something determined by somebody else, not a goal that you set for yourself now. It now becomes something that somebody has set for you rather than a goal that you've set for yourself, and that's huge. A lot of people think of it and go, well, I'm going to achieve everything I'm supposed to achieve, but they listen to the haters, and they're achieving just to make the haters wrong, not necessarily to support what they're supposed to be doing or a goal they set out for themselves. They're allowing the negativity to fuel them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what happens when you don't have a hater?
And see that's the thing. That's the trick. A lot of people just in time in history, you even hear stars say it on TV, like, everybody that doubted me, those are the ones that made me work. No. Don't give energy to the people that doubt you. Don't give the energy to because all that energy needs to be strictly centered on what you need to do to be successful. Focus on again, encouraging yourself, renewing your mind, because people are going to doubt you, man. You could be the greatest of all time, and it's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, I've seen better.
I've seen better.
You know. So don't worry about that, man. Put that energy in making sure you're going in the right path. Like, for instance, like it's so much going on, and it's so many like individual topics that we can go through. Like, don't get lost trying to find yourself because you're not certain how people are going to accept you.
Yeah.
In these days and time, you're going to be judged, and people are going to come up with their opinions about you no matter what you do. Love who you are. Be honest with where you're going, where you are in life, and move forward. But don't get lost trying to find yourself. Stay constantly working on being honest with yourself. Allow yourself to love who you are, accept who you are, and then you can grow from there. You can't grow if you're lost trying to find yourself because you're trying to fit a mold of what you think people expect you to be. That's not what life is about. I want you to simply love who you are. When you love who you are, and I know it can be hard at times, we're human, but when you love who you are, you can grow into who you need to be. But you cannot grow into who you need to be unless you love who you are. And I'm going to step on some toes. I'm talking about different races, ethnic groups, sexuality, all of those things. If you love who you are, you can grow to who you need to be. Because when you love yourself, magical things happen. When you love yourself, you're going to be honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, you can endure the growing pains that comes with growing to where you need to be. And when you love yourself and you're honest with yourself, you can learn to love others. Because you can't love anyone else unless you love yourself. But love who you are. I don't care who you are, what you do. I'm not talking about criminals. I'm not talking about people that are out there doing wrong things. I'm talking about that little boy or that little girl that's lost because they're trying to find themselves. Stop searching and love what you have. Appreciate who you are. And then you will grow to what you need to be.
You have to sit back and really, really analyze who you are to really love yourself, because I think that if you don't know who you are, it's tough to love who you are if you don't know yourself. And to be completely honest, when every week, probably around Wednesday, Thursday, Josh and I and Micah, we're in a group text and we're doing like what you would call the pre-show production, the pre-game production, trying to figure out what we're gonna do. And he hit me with this, and I was like, you know what? I think there's some people out there that need to hear something like that. I said that to myself. I said, because even I myself need probably I listen to the show every time on the way home, after we record it, before we post it, to make sure that there's no mistakes or anything in it. And I'm pretty certain I'm going to listen to this, and it's probably something I said or something Josh has said that's really going to resonate with me, because I think every now and then we need to hear a little inspiration. We need to be uplifted and reminded of who we are and the fact that we should love who we are. And if you don't love who you are, then maybe you need to change who you are. Maybe it's something about you that you need to change so that you can start to achieve the greatness. Two episodes ago, Josh said it's easy to be great now because not too many people want to do it. It's something that people don't want to do. And right. I think that until you fully, if you listen to what Josh just said, until you fully really love yourself and really learn to appreciate who you are, you're not going to achieve that greatness that you're trying to achieve, or create that deck you're trying to build, or write that book. Like Jason, I think Jason is a very the author we had on last week. Jason is a very confident man who loves his job, loves what he does, and continues to spit out greatness. And if you listen to what he was saying, it was really, really motivational for young people. And that's because he's in tune with who he is and enjoys what he does and loves to do what he does. And until you get to that point, if you're sitting there listening to this and you don't truly enjoy what you do, and you don't truly enjoy who you are, can you sit by yourself and just enjoy time by yourself? If your wife isn't there, or if your husband isn't home, if your kids aren't around. Me, man, listen, let me tell you something. I can sit on that couch and turn that TV on and enjoy just being with me. I love, a little known fact, I love to cook. I'll turn on the radio and cook in a minute. I love to write. I sit there and write poetry all night by myself because I'm okay being by myself because I love the person that I am. I've been through some things and I've made some mistakes, but everything that's happened to me has gotten me to this point. Now, I could say, man, it took me forever to get here, and I could feel envious of other people who are ahead of me, or I could love the process, continue to do it, and continue to love who I am, because without that, without me loving myself, I would never be able to say anything. Because at that point, if you don't even like yourself, how could you even remotely motivate anyone else?
Right. And on a side note, I'm gonna say this: we don't curse on this show, but God damn it, Duke is good. Duke is good. Man, them boys are good. We sitting here looking at some of the games while we're doing the podcast, and I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Duke is real. God dang it, man. Them dudes are good. But yeah, I think that's what that's my stickler statement for today, man. You know, stop being lost, trying to find yourself, and love who you are. Because you can't grow to what you need to be unless you love who you are. And that goes for everyone. Black people, white people, Asian, I don't care what you are, Hispanic, straight, gay, I don't care what you are. As long as you're not out here hurting people on purpose and intentionally doing evil, negative things, love who you are. And then the honesty you get from that, you will ultimately grow to who and what you need to be. But Miss Coach E got some more to spit on. I'm done.
Yeah, I think we could wrap it up there, and really, we hope with this podcast. I know it was a little turn from what we normally do.
Right.
It was a little bit more serious, a lot less joking and laughing and stuff. But I think every now and then, like I said, everybody needs to be inspired. And we'll I'm pretty sure we'll do this again whenever the mood strikes us.
Oh, sure.
But,
of course.
you know, you got to be able to, I think sometimes, you know, yeah, we love to laugh and everything else, but in our profession and what we do, we are leaders of young men. We are leaders we're educators of youth. And I think that sometimes they need to be inspired as well, and we need to be inspired just like them. So I'm hoping that the message that we gave across, and we gave a couple of messages today, but I'm hoping that it has helped somebody out there who might have needed to hear it. Even if it was just one of our listeners, I see it as a success. Right. Because I think that every listener is important, as well as everybody needs to hear it. Even if you didn't need to hear this, I guarantee you couldn't cut it off, because it was just, oh man, you know what? I forgot about that. Or you know what? You're right. You know what? I didn't realize I wasn't doing this. So let me go ahead and do this. Let me think about that. Yo, am I really doing what I love to do? You know, because the one thing that happened when my friend died was he died doing what he loved.
Right.
You know, when he passed on, you know, he was doing what he loved. He loved being a DJ. He loved being a radio personality. He loved his kids. He loved being a father.
You can't get to doing what you love, though, unless you love yourself.
Unless you love yourself. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Any shout-outs there, young Josh?
I'm going to give a shout-out to all my young great ones that's playing at the college level now. With all my hearts of hearts, I want to make it to your games. Nah, Quana, Kiera, JB, Sade, Dredd, Buster, Carl, Ryan, like the list just goes on. And I'm Brandon. I'm certain it's some I haven't even named, and I apologize for that. But keep balling, stay on top of them grades, stay focused in that classroom, be the young greatness that I know you are. And please believe, man, if the family and I can figure out a way to get to those games, Deshaun, we definitely gonna try to get out there, man. We definitely. But again, thanks for all the retweets. We got up to 500 downloads.
Sweet.
We
500.
We appreciate all the follows, all the quote tweets, all the likes on Facebook. Man, we don't take any of that for granted. We appreciate it. Keep listening. Patrick Ewing, I hope you get my Georgetown Hoyas right this year. I'm not expecting y'all to be world beaters in the first year, man, but get us right, man, because Marvin Bagley got me out here hoping the Wizards just tank the season so we can figure out a way to draft that dude first. Good Lord. But I
want to give a shout out to at Educator MNS Moranta on her planning period listening to us. We're going to give you a shout out for tweeting that out.
Shout out to Duck too.
Duck
for listening to us.
I had to check her on it. I said she's listening to 2 of her favorite coaches. I said, dog, I thought it was 3. So she tweeted back and she added the 3. But so shouts out to her.
You can be honest.
No,
if it was just me and Micah that are your favorite coaches, you don't have to change the tweet just to make Coach E feelings feel better.
It ain't about changing the tweet. It's about speaking facts. Like, I mean, it ain't just 2 of y'all on the show.
I'm just saying, your feelings was hurt.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So shout out to Duck, man. We appreciate that tweet and listening to the show on your lunch break, Duck. Me and Duck did a lot of AAU coaching together. Learned a lot. I learned a lot from Duck, man. Raymond, over this AAU season. Real good guy. Great father. Great coach. Great strength coach. One of the best to ever do it at South Carolina State University. Playing football. So starting at center. So we appreciate that shout out too, man. But anything else?
Yeah, man. If you want to join the conversation, you can email us at The English and Staley Show. That's AND, The Staley and English Show at gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at The S&E Show, at The S&E Show. Hashtag The Juke. Always when you post about us, hashtag The Juke. We appreciate all the follows. Make sure to download, like Coach said earlier, we're up to 500. Hopefully within the next week we'll be to 1,000. We'll probably do a special 1,000 download show.
Let's do it
if we get to that point. Well, not if, when we get to that point.
We're about to take off, baby. We appreciate all the support.
Yeah, appreciate all the love. Y'all have a great one, and don't forget, love yourself. Everything else will work itself out.
God bless.
Peace.
I want my life, I want my work, my family, I want it to mean something. And it's like, if you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
And I've learned you can't tell everybody your plans. And sometimes your dreams are bigger than them. You just gotta find just let your actions show them. So take it from me. I learned that you can't talk to losers now. It ain't their language, they never gonna get it. And then anything I can think of, I can make it come true. Yeah, somebody turn the lights on. Yeah, I learned that you can't talk to losers, stop turn the lights on. Yeah, it ain't language, they never gonna get it. And then anything I can think of, I can make it come look at me now. I'm on drink 2. My nigga Rico Love said turn up. Cause you can see the truth a whole lot better with the lights on. Don't be afraid to drink the ice. I learned to drink with the lights on.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period. It's that simple.
I know who I am, and I know what I believe.
I know who I am, I know what I believe.
That's all I need to know.
That's all I need to know. So from there, you do what you need to do. You know, and I think what happens is we make the situation more complex than it has to be.
Because we're looking for complexity. There's got to be something complex to understand.
It can't be that easy.
The separation of talent and skill is one of the greatest misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to excel, who have dreams, that want to do things. Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft.
I think that there's a certain delusional quality that all successful people have to have. You have to believe that something different than what has happened for the last 50 million years of history. You have to believe that something different can happen. Being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. Why would you be realistic? What's the point of being realistic? Just put up a barrier. Yeah, I'm going to do it. It's done. It's already done. The second I decide it's done, it's already done. Now we just got to wait for y'all to see.